Good evening, yogis. Glad to see all of you. More the merrier with cameras on. We can, in a few moments, say hello. Let's just hang out for a second, for another minute or so. Do your little stealth loving kindness practice to each human being here, each unique, perfect expression of life. Just give it another 30 seconds. Anyway, welcome to Mission Dharma online. And I'd like to especially welcome a few who have just come off of the Labor Day retreat. And as well, welcome Leslie, who just came from did a day-long retreat, and welcome everyone, as always. But just come off of the glow of being at Spirit Rock, and hopefully I'll share a little bit of that with you tonight. And if you haven't been with us before, we often begin by saying hello to each other so that we can simulate a little bit the feeling of being in person. We like to hear each other's voices, attune to just that sound of a group that helps give us that sense of being in community and feel the lifting power, the support of practicing with others. So feel free to say hello, unmute, say hello, and perhaps say where you're calling in from, and then we will practice together. But not all at once.
Howard in British Columbia.
Hey, Howard, glad to see you.
Glad to see you too.
Katie from San Francisco.
Hey, Katie.
Trisha from San Francisco.
Hello, Trisha. I actually have to talk to you about something. I missed that one.
Catherine from San Francisco.
Hello, Catherine. Welcome.
David in Burlingame.
Hey, David. The more cameras, the better.
Yes.
From Maryland.
I missed that.
Hi, Howie. It's Laura from Maryland. Good to see you all.
Hi, Laura. Glad you're with us.
Linda from Eugene. Hi,
Yay,
Howie.
Linda.
Hi, everybody.
Glad you're back with us. Linda
Hi,
help
hello.
make us.
Jeffrey and Sierra from Las Vegas.
Welcome. Glad you're with us.
Glad to be here.
Good.
Hi, it's Leith from Edmonton. Looking forward to seeing you in
Hey,
the week.
Leith, can't wait. Be there in a few days.
Looking
Hello,
forward.
Michael from Edmonton as well.
Great. Hey, Michael.
Mike from Reno. I was on retreat with you, Howie.
Hi, Mike. Glad you could make it tonight.
Thank you.
Mary from Santa Barbara.
Hey, Mary. Got the Marys with us.
Becca from New York.
Hello,
Hi,
Rebecca. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
Got the whole family.
Yes.
Hi, Leslie from Orinda.
Hi, Leslie.
I'm
Again,
not sure you can hear me.
I can hear you perfectly.
Thank you.
We're
You're my
glad
new hero, Howie. Don't tell Annie.
Oh,
Angela at San Francisco.
hello, Ajala. Always a pleasure.
Glen, Palm Desert, California.
Hey, Glenn.
Greetings from Berkeley.
Hey, Margot. Yay.
Eugene from San Francisco.
Hello, Eugene. Glad you're with us. Hey, Devin, I see you too.
Oh, Devin from the Hudson Valley. Hey, Howie.
Anyway, thanks for letting your voice be heard. Let the reverberation of the knowledge that you are sitting with others kind of help orient you to real time. That is both the beginning of our practice, it is the path of practice, and it's the end of practice to learn how to experience our life in real time. As I often say, there's no higher mountain to climb than your present time awareness. Even while you're busy making other plans, this is where the action is. This is where all your plans lead to the potential of you to relax into your present time experience. And just notice, even before we do our formal practice, what happens when you just momentarily let go of your plans, let go of your memories. And when I say that, I don't mean get rid of them. Just give a little space in between your thoughts of past and future. And just notice what it's like when you don't look ahead and you don't look back. You'll recognize that the only way that you can even investigate this question, inquire into what this experience is because of the simple fact that you are aware. What Suzuki Roshi calls the ultimate fact of your existence, that you are aware. Underappreciated, but the beginning, the middle, and end of our practice is this realization. So our practice is whatever it is that helps support us to be aware, be awake, be a Buddha. Buddha just means awake. To go to the Buddha for refuge, that's being awake. To go to the Dharma, just the truth of our experience right now, for refuge. And then for us to be able to feel, benefit from, and benefit the Sangha, the community. It's also helpful that we're with each other, also helpful that we're aware. The method of practice helps us to stay aware. First, to recognize that we are aware, and then to stay aware. And the Buddha recommended that in order to stay aware, in order to experience all the fruits of the awakened life, there's one thing that is of most importance. That is mindfulness directed or anchored in the body. So let your attention just settle into your body. Let your body fill your attention. And really don't do anything with your mind other than notice the sitting body, lying body, whatever the shape of your body, that this is actually occurring. And feeling it so intimately that we move beyond just the idea of our body and mind, just to the direct experience. Feel the immediacy of the sensations of sitting. Notice how the attention, intimate with, close to these experiences, body sensations, naturally brings a stilling, a settling. And if you feel this stilling, you're likely to then notice those little micro movements that your body makes, those sensations that come when your body breathes. And if we just ride those sensations, in as our body fills and out as our body lets go, just this attending to our body's breath, we begin to incline toward, without trying to, we just naturally become a little bit more peaceful. Not trying to be still, not trying to be peaceful, just connecting with our body and breath. Just this simple act of connecting with our body and breath just momentarily empties our mind of its usual preoccupations and fills it with the life of the present moment. And then this allows us to widen and experience more of the life of the present moment, more able to hear the sounds of your temple, in the room you're sitting in, or the place, which may have distant sounds, which may have more immediate sound, that may allow you to experience the sound of silence. More present time awareness will allow you to notice a whole range of sensations that may become stronger than the general sensations of sitting and breathing. And welcoming each particular sensation that lights up and becomes predominant. Some pleasant, some unpleasant, some neither pleasant or unpleasant. Being here, we also are able to open to and welcome different moods and emotions as they move through our consciousness completely unbidden, like changing weather. And we're also able to then notice sometimes the thoughts and images that float through our mind like clouds blowing through a windy sky. Now, the reason I say sometimes is because often we become lost in thought. But as we settle, we can begin to just notice the thinking mind until all experiences that are part of the present moment can be welcomed graciously. This welcoming, sky-like, kind and interested attention. Our best chance of being able to notice the range of experiences, to anchor our attention in our bodies and breath. Connect and sustain. Just this breath, just this moment, as long as it lasts. Until you drift off, which is inevitable. And when you realize you've drifted off, that's a moment of mindfulness coming back, re-arising. Very gently include your body again in awareness once you've awakened to where you are. Just this moment. Don't let your mind leave your body. Don't let your body leave your mind. But when you realize that you've left, realize that you've been absorbed in a fantasy, disembodied, celebrate that reawakening. Return to mindful attention and in service of remaining anchored here. Embodied, we just find our sitting body, find our sensations of breathing. Just this half breath. Just this moment. If your tranquility is high and your energy is low, just rouse a little energy. Refresh your posture. Begin again. Just wake up. If you need to, open the eyes real wide. And close them very mindfully and continue. Stand up or sit up more upright. Very gently, every little movement with your body included in your continuity of mindfulness. And if there's too much energy, restless, agitated, just open up, make space for this feeling. Give your mind a big pasture. If you're straining to make something happen, notice this. This is greed in the mind. Notice the tension, wanting. See what happens to that feeling. And then find your body and breath. Just this moment. Really a pleasure to sit with you tonight. Be back in my home group, so to speak. Nice to see you, Anne, up in Sonoma. Jill, Maureen, and Regina. The rest of you, Noemi, glad you joined. My mind was quite fertile tonight. I always say it's an occupational hazard. Start having thoughts of what might be fun to talk about. I was trying to remember a famous Dharma story, but I know that if I try it, I'll wreck it. But I'll give you the gist of it. Just pretending that you're being confronted by a lion. And the lion is about to put your head in its mouth. What would you do? There's a right answer for this. Well, in the story, the person says, I would stop pretending. That our mind creates incredible, terrorizing, dread-inducing thoughts and images. And they are often mistaken as reality. And it is very similar to the person who has that image of the lion but doesn't know that it's an image. That somebody has to tell them, stop pretending. So our teaching is that you notice, you make a shift from believing whatever your mind is creating to noticing it. And that you can see that it's just an image. Nothing happened. Anyway, that's what I was thinking about. Now I'm inspired to find the actual story, but maybe you get the point of it. But before we get into other mischief, stray thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. Wondering what you experienced in the sitting, any questions, comments, descriptions, topics that emerged from practicing. And I see Laura in Maryland has her hand up. Maybe you know the the actual story, but love to hear from you in any case.
Hi, Howie. Thanks. I don't know the story, unfortunately. But I have two questions. One came from tonight's practice, but the other one I've been holding since a couple of weeks ago after your talk. So I want to start with that. And if there's time for a second, fine. And if not, no worries. You told that beautiful story about meeting the teacher, and he told you, drop the seeker and drop the sought.
Remove the seeker, remove the sought. Yes.
Yes. And I can imagine that what came after that, and you kind of described, a wordless thing that you can't really describe. But I'm probably certain that your body remembers. You remember the feeling, and it was transmitted when you were talking about it. Yeah. And I've had a similar experience, and sometimes in practice, I find that I want to incline my mind towards that memory of the experience. And in doing so, sometimes what I find is then what will spontaneously arise is elements of that. But I've read in a lot of texts that it's, really something that we should not do. That,
No.
that if, you know what I'm talking about? That it's like,
Yes.
and so
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if you can offer some wisdom about, if that's a habit that I should seek to replace.
Wonderful question, and happy for you to have experiences that were inspiring enough to want to replicate or to go back to. However, just to put it in the language of the Buddha, he said that those kinds of experiences are the springboards to nirvana. They inspire us. But they are also, in the very next sentence, he said they are the corruptions of insight, because the tendency to look for them again, to search for them again, and that creates something, it creates the illusion that there is something to return to or get to that isn't here already. And so the bottom line with all experiences, if it can be lost, it might as well. It's not worth replicating. I mean, that's not the point. The point is to discover that which cannot be lost. And then the practice itself is just being that, referring to that, remembering that. And if it really is something that cannot be lost, it's there. It's just a matter of turning the attention to it. If it's, and I say turning the attention to it just means that rather than having your mind be on something else, be on that which you've recognized or that you are already, that cannot be lost. So I will only say for myself that whatever that feeling was never left me. And of course I get absorbed in this and that, but that's where my mind returns to. Not because I recreate it, but because that's just home base. And I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so just return to home base. What in your mind, what in your nature cannot be lost?
Yeah. And I feel like that is the way that I've kind of been, it's not like, oh, I'm trying to get back to it or reify it or hold on to it, but it's like one of those things, as soon as I recall the experience, like hearing your story, it's like an instant remembering sometimes, of something that is never not here, but is obscured, often.
There you go. Yeah, sometimes things are obscured.
Yeah. So thank you.
And there are practices that are just about remembering. But as long as you don't get caught it's different to remember than to seek.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so that leads into kind of how it came up in practice tonight that I felt was related. Was thoughts were coming, I was aware of when a thought arose, not pushing away or clinging to it, and a memory from earlier in the day of something funny that happened just reoccurred in my mind. And when it did, the spontaneous urge to laugh arose. I was aware of oh, here's how it feels. It comes from the pit of the stomach, and I had to really clamp it down.
Why?
Well, only because I was on camera and thought that might be, I had that happen at a retreat once and I did not clamp it down. And so I did, but I was aware of that arising and I knew that it came from the memory of this experience, but the arising of the laughter was fresh. It was in this moment. And that feels similar to the thing that I'm talking about of I'll remember that experience, but the remembering brings some kind of freshness as opposed to looking for it. Does that make sense?
But I would not consider the memory not fresh. The memory is also fresh.
Okay.
So a memory isn't, it may be of the past, but it's really just a presently arising experience. So just knowing that connection between a memory and then the the upsurge of the feeling that is associated with that. That's really what the practice is. But so I don't know, maybe you're not doing this, but I wouldn't treat the memory any different than that upsurge of joy,
Okay, great.
whatever that is.
Thank you so much. So helpful.
Yeah, that's all it is. Remembering, and whoo, what amazing.
Thank you.
And it reminds me, one of my teachers, Anagar Kumunindra, said, having pleasant memories is good karma.
Yeah.
I always got a kick out of that. Anyway, thank you. Anyone else? Last call. Linda, great
Hi,
to have you with us
Howie.
tonight.
The thing that arose for me tonight was the phrase of giving a wide pasture to the mind. I probably have heard it a million times, but it just really landed in a way that I recognized when the mind was busy. That phrase just helped me allow it to be there and not get caught in it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, there was some, it's the spaciousness of that really helped. And, I think often it's much more of a knee-jerk reaction to want to repress the thoughts,
Yes.
to not allow them to be there, to not, I don't want to make too much of them. And I think that if I recognize them, I'm just going to get carried away. But actually, yeah, just that wide pasture was so beautiful. So thank you for that.
Glad you enjoyed that. And just for your information, that came from a line from Suzuki Roshi in describing how to work with the unruly mind and the restless mind, or the waves of the mind that are agitated. He said the way to control a cow is to give it a big pasture. So
Oh, right.
you
Yes.
imagine trying to corral this cow in. It goes crazy. You give it a big pasture. It wanders around for a while and then it rests.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Pleasure. Glad you enjoyed that.
And the story about the lion, is it the one about the tiger?
Maybe it's the tiger.
The tiger, the person goes in a cave and draws on the cave the picture of a tiger. And then he goes running out screaming, there's a tiger in there. There's a tiger in there. I don't know if that's the one you're talking about.
Not the same story, but that's a good one too.
Thank you.
Anyway, glad you're here. So last call. Glenn, please feel free.
Thank you for the talk and great to be with everyone. Howie, you said something in the beginning. I didn't want to write it down because we were going into our practice, but you said something about the awareness is the breath and in being in the body, but you said it a little more eloquently, and it's something I kind of wanted to take with me during the week. I forget how you put it though. And I know what you meant. I know what it felt like, but I forget how you put it. If you don't mind repeating or rephrasing.
To tell you the truth, I don't remember what I
Okay.
said, but
I got the gist, but it was just
maybe feed back to me what the gist was, if you can.
well, moving into intent is, creating awareness for today's sit, and a way to do that is to, be with the breath in the body. And with that awareness, we can deepen the awareness of our experience of what's happening in the moment, is kind of what I took away.
Yes, that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pass the quiz then.
Yeah, I think maybe I'm not sure, but I think I may have been pointing to that it's based on a sutta that the Buddha gave to a bunch of monks sitting around. Well, first, I think I started with just the simple present time awareness is both the beginning, the middle, and the end of our path. There's no higher mountain to climb than that simple mindfulness, welcoming, understanding, and allowing each presently arising experience to liberate itself in the light of awareness.
Yeah.
But what really helps with establishing that continuity of mindful attention, the Buddha said to the monks, there's one thing, O monks. He did a bunch of things on one, number one. There's one thing, O monks, that leads to calm, that leads to focus, that leads to a pleasant dwelling in this very life, that leads to the abandonment and the eradication of the defilements of mind, the things that confuse us and block our way to a sense of joy. He says there's one thing. What is that one thing? It is mindfulness directed to the body.
Nice.
If mindfulness is directed to the body is calm, the mind is calm, the defilements are abandoned, all the attainments, all the fruits are made possible with this simple attention to the body. And
Thank
then,
you.
yeah, once there's in the body, there's a stilling.
Mm-hmm.
And then once there's that stilling, it becomes more obvious that the body is breathing. And then just riding the waves of the breath, both the body is calmed and the body is stilled by just having our mind in the same place as our body. So that's the gist of it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyway, thanks for asking the question. It allowed me to say it again. I can't get enough of reminding myself. In fact, I was talking on this recent retreat about how whenever I offer instructions, I'm actually giving myself what we call a Dharma talk, or I'm giving myself instructions. And if any of you ever offer instructions, just offer what you're actually doing with yourself. And you'll find that it will have to use Laura's word, it has it transmits the quality of your understanding. It transmits the quality of your mind at that moment that you're offering it. If you happen to, a friend or near and dear one. But I particularly love to notice what happens when my mind, when the attention, when I say mind, I think of this mind and attention or awareness as synonymous. And when attention is then brought together with the feeling of the sitting body, almost instantaneously there is a settling and a stilling. And that's kind of interesting to feel that happen. And then when the attention is together with the breathing, I notice that the effect of that after just a little while, if I'm able to sustain it, and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'll be busy writing a Dharma talk in my mind. But if I'm able to sustain it, there is a much more an evolving quality of peace. Not because I made my mind peaceful and not because I stilled my body. As soon as I try to still my body and make my mind peaceful, that just creates tension and then more agitation. But if I just show up and trust, as my wife Annie put it, I actually wrote it down. She's with us tonight. She's going to get proper attribution as the guru behind the guru. She says, mindfulness does all the work so that you don't have to. Because as soon as you think you have to make your mind peaceful or make your body still, it creates an extra, what we would call a doer. You have to take birth as the doer, who then is going to do this thing, and then maybe someday it'll get done. And just anything that depends on time is in some ways false. It's a kind of, and it creates tension. But anything I say like this, please don't believe me, but just notice all the ways that your mind creates this doer. And I think I'm going to talk about that a little bit more tonight. But I'll repeat Annie's teaching. Mindfulness does all the work, so you don't have to. So I guess I would title the talk, Trusting Mindfulness or Trusting Awareness. And the subtitle would be Undoing the Project Mentality. What do I mean by the project mentality? I want to go back a little bit to the retreat that I just finished. And I have the good fortune, there are 100 meditators, and I was able to see, as part of my interview groups, my practice meetings, I was able to see, I think, about 2/3 of them, 60 out of the 100, 60 something out of the 100. And what I saw as a common theme, not everyone, but a common theme, is that not only am I experiencing something in the meditation, let me back up again. When I was in practicing for many years with a Burmese master named U Pandita Sayadaw, who on one hand was not a great force was not great for my practice in terms of confidence and faith. In fact, he was so hard on me that it started to whittle away at my faith. And the good fortune about that is it opened me to exploring other kinds of flavors of practice, because I was getting discouraged with this particular teacher. You know, just an example, sometimes when he used, as one of my colleagues described it, as Stone Age psychology. He would initially be incredibly effusive in his praise and his joining me in the joy of practice, and really giving a feeling like, you know, you're a hotshot yogi. And once he had me, once he knew that I was susceptible to pride, the next interviews, one after another, when I would enter into the interview room, and these were one-on-one interviews with a translator, but from then on, once he knew he had me, that I was a little bit inflated, he would look at me when I walked in the room, and he would pick up a book and start reading and kind of ignore me. Or if I started to report something about my experience, he would just look at me with a kind of disdain, incredulous about what I had said. All a device to get me to see how fragile the identity is, as it is for all of us, but it's not, I didn't find it to be a very useful methodology for showing the insubstantiality, the unreliability of identity. In fact, the only real reliable way is insight knowledge. And in terms of how to meet someone coming into a practice meeting, is the only way I've found is interest and kindness and just joining with somebody in their practice. Anyway, even though that was not such a wholesome relationship for me in my practice, he did allow me, in the way that he practiced, he allowed me to see the difference between mindfulness, bare attention, just noticing what's happening, which is, getting back to Annie's passage, mindfulness does all the work for you. The difference between mindfulness of just what's happening and any kind of embellishment that the mind adds to it, any kind of story or belief or desire or conclusion. And in the course of practicing with him, it became so clear when something was being added to experience. So we were encouraged to just report, breathing in happened, breathing out happened. It was noticed. How many breaths before the mind drifted into fantasy? And then when you noticed it, did you notice, were you aware of that? And just the sequence of what happens. Now, most of us cannot believe that being that simple, just seeing things as they are, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, just seeing it just as it is, that is the beginning, that is the middle, that's the end of the whole practice. It just seems like that's not enough. And because our identities, and this is our conditioning, it's systemic, it's universal, our identity tends to be organized around having a problem to solve. Something to fix, something to heal, something to enlighten, something to figure out. Our mind almost takes anything and wants to do something about it. And that's why I always say in the practice, to anybody that sat with me for a while, say, mindfulness has no agenda other than noticing the presently arising experience. And if one takes that teaching to makes it into a committed kind of practice, portable anytime, anywhere, it doesn't have to be just formal practice, but if there's just a showing up, a being aware of, just in touch with things just as they are, all the insight knowledge, all the I'm looking for a word tonight that just keeps disappearing. All the elements that create the deepest understanding emerge naturally from that simple connecting and sustaining with the presently arising experience. And what I saw in contrast to that is wonderful meditators, a room full of wonderful meditators who were quite able to track their experience, notice the present arising experience, notice what was happening at the different senses. But habitually and sometimes unknowingly would incarnate into that doer, that fixer, that problem solver, that belief that something has to be done about this experience. So why does someone not have to do anything about that experience? Is the presently arising experience is not a problem to solve. It's just something to notice. And as soon as it's framed as it should be other than the way it is, it could be other than the way it is, it used to be other than the way it is, that whatever it is that generates the view that something then needs to be different in order for me to find relief, that is in a sense what the Buddha called self-view, the view of myself as having a problem that will be solved in time. And that view of self that we enter into in our imagination, in our sincere desire to get it right, that may be the number one, the composite version of the self-view, is I want to get it right. I want to be right. I want to be whole. I want to be enough. But that view itself creates the misperception. It creates the perception that I'm not right, that something's not right. Something's not right according to what? According to an idea, a view of things, that there is a better place to be. And that is the trick of the mind that tends to create that turns the present moment experience, the simple present experience, into a moment of not enough. It's not okay. And that's especially sad because this present moment experience is the only experience we have. Any experience in the future is a dream. Any experience in the past is a memory. Now, if I were to be able to notice, oh, that's a memory of another experience. Oh, that's a dream. Then that's just a presently arising experience to be known. Not a problem at all. But if that goes unknown, that little version of myself that's playing in my mind, that's come from the past and going toward my happiness in the future, once I enter into that, I've entered what's called the chain of delusion. I've gotten lost. And I'm in a completely imaginary version of myself. And I've lost touch with reality, which is only and always now. So our practice of moment to moment attention, you could go moment to moment attention, or you can go moment to moment attention. Doesn't matter whether it's narrow, whether it's wide, a big pasture, or a detailed attention to a sensation in your knee. Any experience being known in awareness is the beginning, it's the middle, it's the end of the holy life. So here's a wonderful example. Somebody at the end of the retreat, those of you who were on the retreat this week heard the person. Hey, Rebecca, glad you're with us tonight. And Blair, too, I don't see your face, but I saw your name. Glad you're with us. The person at the end of the retreat, when they were asked to raise their hand to talk about what it was like, the transition from sitting all those days of silence and then speaking again, and they started to, the person said, well, when I sat again after that, I felt this incredible dread about the world that I was going back into. And that world that again, it was just a thought in the present moment of the world. A thought of the world is not the world, and we tend to forget that. But that world, she had a thought of the world and saw, inequality and war and hatred and so much. And then she got quite overwhelmed and felt this incredible dread. And in fact, really nothing happened except thoughts arose in present time. Now, if they were noticed, they would just liberate them. They would just kind of arise and fade as thoughts do. But because they were unnoticed, it spread out into ordinary thinking. And she got caught up in that chain of delusion, believing that picture of the world was the world. And we do this in some version every day of our lives. We create an imagined future and then we worry about it. We create imagined past and then either feel regret. And if we could only appreciate the miracle of being able to think thoughts of the imagined future, the miracle of being able to remember the past, that's all great. But to be able to notice it and not get lost in it, not get carried away by it, to just see it as the thinking mind thinking. See it as a miraculous expression of a display of our minds to be able to think. But when we incarnate in our thoughts, when we believe them, we wander a long time confused. So time and time again on this retreat, time and time again. In fact, sometimes if I look back on the retreat, sometimes my only regret is sometimes I would be a little aggressive with people saying, you don't have to do anything about this thought. You don't have to do anything about this feeling in your body. You don't have to do anything about this mood. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to problem solve it. You don't have to get rid of it. This is not a deleting practice. Letting go is not getting rid of. Letting go is saying, it's okay that you're here. And when I see you, if I really see you as you are, I will see that you will arise and you'll fade away. And mindfulness does all the work, so you don't have to. And when I say you don't have to, it means you don't have to become a meditator who has to fix experience. The only identity worth that name is the identity of, and you don't even have to have an identity. You just have to return to your natural state, which is just being aware. And get used to it, stabilize it. You can call that an identity. It's maybe the Buddha called it one fortunate attachment, is being present for each arising moment. This is why over and over again, the wisdom teachings say, do not seek your home elsewhere. Ramakrishna says, "O longing mind, dwell within the depths of your own true nature," which is just right here. Do not seek your home elsewhere. Don't confine your innate infinity, because when you're aware, there's no height, there's no depth, there's no color, no form. There's just aware. It doesn't have a limit. It's not in your head. It's not in your heart. It's not somewhere. It's just being aware. Just be aware right now. See what it's like. He says, do not seek your home elsewhere. Your naked awareness alone, this is Ramakrishna, your naked awareness alone, O mind, heart, is the inexhaustible abundance for which you long so desperately. So all of our doing something about things obscures this natural, complete, satisfying, inexhaustible nature just the sense of being aware. But when we hear be mindful, it doesn't sound like it points to anything it's so simple that you may overlook how profound it is, how true that that we never, ever need to lift out of this present moment awareness to find the deepest peace that we're looking for. And I love the teaching of an Advaita teacher named Nisargadatta, where he said everything you need for this peace, you already have within you. He says, only you must regard yourself with reverence and love. This is where the love comes in, the kindness. And especially kindness toward all the ways that we run from silence, run from ourselves, run to fix and figure out and solve and go somewhere, become someone. All that we do to do that, all that we do to make ourselves happy. He says this is a sign of love you bear for yourself. So making peace with all of our strategies that actually make us miserable. He says, your flight from pain and your search for pleasure is a sign of love you bear for yourself. But I plead with you this, make love of yourself perfect. And in the case of mindfulness or meditation practice, make love of ourself perfect is to meet our presently arising experience with loving awareness, with a simple attention, a kind of choiceless love that says it's okay that you're here. You are okay right now if you're having this particular experience that you're having. You don't need a different experience than the one you're having right now. Let the present experience that you're having, anxiety, fear, anger, whatever, let it be the reminder that you're here. And then embrace that experience that you're having. See what happens. And if you see what happens, you will understand the nature of reality. Not because you did something about it, but because you stayed long enough to see that every experience comes and every experience goes. To try to hold on to it, make it more of something, get rid of it, this just creates stress. So we have to follow Annie's advice. Mindfulness does all the work, so you don't have to. Love, and that's the same as saying love does all the work, so you don't have to. Let's see if there's anything else I want to say. This is what Ralph Waldo Emerson said, reminding us, see, what happens is that version of ourselves that needs to fix and figure out and make things different than the way they are. And I'm talking about ourselves. To the world, we need to make the world different than the way it is. And for that, we need knowledge, we need education, we need skills and all this stuff. But to be free in our hearts, to free our hearts, to be able to do good in this world, we don't really need anything except to be present. And every time we incarnate or enter into that imaginary world where we're somehow not enough and we have to fix or figure out or solve, we miss the miracle that we are. That's why Emerson says, who you are, shout so loudly I can't hear what you say. So our practice helps us see and experience what we are already, and be able to see the difference between the hungry one that needs to do something and the one that is so full right here after your last thought has stopped and before the next one comes. that peace is waiting. It's why it's sometimes called an open secret, hides in plain view. But we can't believe that it's that simple. I'll just leave you with the Tibetan teaching, just so you know that it's not just you, that all human beings fall into what they call the four faults. And the four faults is why we don't recognize the fullness of don't recognize the miracle that sits here, just you as you right now, and the consciousness through which you're perceiving. It says, one, it's too close. It's like trying to see your own face. Two, it's too vast. It doesn't fit into, it's limitless. It doesn't fit into our little conceptual box. This is who I am. So it's too close, it's too vast, it's too wondrous. And then the last one, the fourth fault, it's too easy. We can't believe that we just have to trust awareness. Trust love. Awareness and love, same, chitta. We just have to enhance our chitta, our consciousness. Just keep waking up to the presently arising experience. And you will realize that who you are shouts so loudly that it doesn't matter what you say or anyone else says about you. And you just be that. So thanks for listening. Thanks for being here, supporting each other. Thanks for your generosity. That's the way we keep cooking here. And I think in the chat are all the ways that you can offer dana and support to me, Mission Dharma, whoever takes this seat. I think any announcements, let me see, the next in-person half-day retreat for the city people will be the 25th of October in the Mission. We will keep putting information in the bulletin. And then the very next day, I'll be doing an online retreat for Spirit Rock, which will, be available to anyone, anywhere. That's the end of October. But meanwhile, I'll be in Edmonton this weekend. Tell all your friends. I think maybe it's already sold out, but there's usually room, and there's always a room at the end, they say. And then let's see what else. The 25th of September in Houston, Texas, 4-day retreat. Any Texans, please come and support the retreat. And mid-October 15th or so, Victoria, British Columbia. Mid-November at Prescott, Arizona. Back at Spirit Rock in December. So lots of retreat opportunities. We'll keep posting them. And thanks again for your practice. Please feel free to unmute and say good night to each other. Glad to be with you. Sorry to keep you so long.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
Thank you, Howie.
Good
Hi,
night.
everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, Harry. Good night, everyone.
Tricia,
Bye,
stay for a
Howie.
second. I have something to say
Good
to you.
night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night,
Okay.
everybody.
Good night.
Thank you. That was really wonderful tonight.
Yeah. Whoops. Oh, good.
Oh, yeah.
Tricia, you're still there. Don't go away. Keith, if you
I'm
can wait
hanging
a
on.
second before you turn it off.
Sure.
Good night, Leslie. Good
Thank
night, Stephen.
Annie. Yes, thank you, Annie. That was great. It was a great lecture tonight, too. Thank you so much, Howie.
Annie is a good guru. Anyway, Trish, you offered dana to Mission Dharma, and I think it was meant to go to SF Insight. It said for Pam's.
Oh, thank you. And I thought you were gonna talk to me about, I tried sending you an email about your 1 day, and I asked if I could pay cash and just show up. It was just the Sangha, the online Sangha was right before your one day
Oh,
at
yeah.
Spirit Rock.
You can,
And I
I'm pretty
never
sure
hear back
Spirit.
from anybody.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sometimes it doesn't get to me right away. And sometimes it's not checked every day. So sorry about that. But Spirit Rock will take cash, I'm sure. Anyway, sorry you missed it. That's too bad.
Okay. Yes, me too. Maybe next time.
Okay. Anyway, good to see
Thank
you
you for the
tonight.
wonderful talk.
Thank you. See you,
Thank
Mary.
you. And you can keep the Dharma for tonight, or Dana, and I'll add some to Pam.
Thank you. I just wanted you to know that that's where it went.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Howie,
care.
thank you so much. It was a very special talk for me tonight. It really was
Thank you, Mary.
like where I was at, and you put everything so beautifully into words. I'm going to save this one and watch it several times. And thank Annie also too.
I
It's
will. I'll
beautifully
definitely
said.
pass it on.
Very grateful. Thank
Good
you so
night.
much. Night.